Welcome to One with the Other Way, a podcast about your journey and finances. I'm your host, James. Today we have Wanda and Peggy with us to kind of talk about our mantra today. We mentioned about living a good life now and in the future. And I think it's good to kind of provide some clarity on what we actually mean by that. So,
Well, yeah, we do say that a lot, but we never have actually talked about what does that mean and why is it important. And so I wanted to kind of just talk about that a little bit. I know that people sometimes say things, clients and others, right? They'll say things like, yeah, but I'm struggling to put all this money away for this imaginary future. And so I think it's important that we discuss why it's important to put the money away and then also ways to not have that be the case, right? Like, obviously, we don't want you struggling and having a really hard time and not being able to enjoy your life today so that you can have your retirement.
Okay, so I want to clarify something, right? And maybe three things that we need to cover today. First is we want you to have a real life with all of its beauty, all of its joy. It's important that you start on your financial journey as soon as you can. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. Your start point is your present, wherever it is. And then life's going to happen. You're going to have speed bumps. So we have to adapt with the changes. So really, we want you to have that life be present and all that means. But the important thing is to get started. And I cannot tell you the number of people that come to me later than I like to see them. And they're like, well, we would have come to you sooner, but we didn't have money. And the reality is, the sooner that they can come to us, we find that we can create plans so that they don't have that feeling of, I don't have any money. And it's true. This week, I've met someone in their 40s and someone in their 70s. Both said the same thing to me. I didn't come to you sooner because I didn't have any money. And in each of those cases, at the present point of where they are, we found more money than they thought they had. And we could have done that sooner so they could be on their journey having their best life. So that, I think, is very important. There's a fear that causes people maybe not to come see us because we're going to take something from them, but we really want to give something to them. We want them to have their best life.
Yes, there is that fear that, well, first of all, I'm starting to think that it's a pet peeve of mine when client, that whole we're going to take something from them and you want to take more of our money, that kind of thing. Because it's like, in reality, we're not taking your money, right? We're putting your money to work for you.
That's a better way of looking at it.
Let's just clear that because, yeah, you're going to ask for more money. You're going to ask for more money. Well, we're not asking for more money for our sake. We're trying to help you. But I agree. I think that there is that fear. And that is another thing that's part of our whole mission. That is the reason that I love our company and working with you, Wanda, and why I came to work with you. It's because we don't have, a $5 million minimum or $1 million minimum or even a $250,000 minimum to talk to us, right? Come to us. We look at it. We can look at what you're doing now and help you to get to where you want to be, hopefully, right? So basically, okay, we want you to have a good life now and in the future. So time is super important. So we want you to start as soon as you can, right? And then, when we build plans, we build in what your goals are. We build in how you want to live your life today and thinking about how you're going to live your life in your retirement. And I think that's really important for people to understand, because I think that another thing we have is clients who don't necessarily want to tell us about some of their savings.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right.
Right. They do. I mean, we want you to have savings. We want you to have an emergency fund. We want all of these things for you. We want you to go on that dream vacation. We do. Right. Because that's your life. And we want you, like Wanda said, to live the one life that you have. So we want all of these things for you. And I think it's just important that we get to have those conversations and look at everything and, be able to help you. And I feel like sometimes clients oh, well, let's don't tell her about that $10,000 we have over there saved for our trip to wherever, don't you feel like that sometimes?
It's that fear of letting go. And that's actually, it's a yoga principle. It's a Catholic principle. It's a Christian principle of attachment to things like this is me and you're not allowed to see all of me. And from a financial picture, it's better that we see all of you on the financial side, right? because then that can
Good
help
catch.
us. Yeah, that can help us with your living life fully. So, for example, I'm hiding that $10,000 for this vacation. Well, the vacation is a fantastic idea. You should take vacations. And they should be in your financial plan. And you should be able to take vacations now and in the future. So you have that $10,000 now. I want to make sure that you always have that $10,000 to take those vacations when you want to at your control and flexibility and that kind of thing. Not telling us about that comprehensive thing can be a detriment to your overall financial plan. So just that consideration.
So I kind of want to go back a little bit because you had mentioned, Peggy, the idea of like, not having enough money, the worrying about that part. Even when you meet with a financial advisor, and I've found this myself, there is this ebb and flow to cash flow. And I feel like having a financial advisor, at least for me, helped. So do you mind kind of going a little more into the idea of like how practically a financial advisor can enter into your situation and help just provide clarity around just like the day to day, not just the planning of the vacation, the like how you actually can live well today?
So I like to tell my families that anytime there's an issue or question arises with a dollar sign in front of it, that's a good time to talk to a financial advisor. And some of them are bigger dollars and some of them are smaller dollars. Some of them could be, for example, an overly excessive credit card this month or a deductible that I need to meet on a house repair or a house repair that wasn't done by the insurance company or
A tax bill
a tax
comes
bill.
up.
Yeah. So these are times to reach out. And now I know it almost seems sometimes I think that we're very rigid about our appointments. And if you look at the calendar, I'm 6 weeks out right now for appointments. But the reality is, if you have something, a speed bump in your life with a dollar sign in front of it, reach out and you want to talk to someone about it because it's not only impacting your life in the moment, right? But it's also impacting your overall financial fitness in the long run. And I have to laugh because this month I get something called a financial advisor. And this month, the cover there, the business of financial slash wellness 2.0. Financial issues do affect you physically. They wear on you. They are stressful. And we want to minimize that stress. If you're stressed about your finances, you are not able to be present in the moment and enjoying the life that's right in front of you, because that's in the back of your mind and clouding it and causing you not to have clarity about that. So you should reach out to a financial advisor. Holding that stress inside of you, it is not good for your long-term health. I think. Now, we are not medical doctors, so that's not a medical recommendation. But you know that whenever there's stress in your life, you know that, your chest is a little bit tighter, your shoulders are tense and that kind of thing. So you're like, I have to go to the chiropractor 15 times.
Yeah.
And so if we can relieve the financial part of it, I think then you can be more fully present. And we have the gift of the present day. And that's the thing to take the joy right there in the moment.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, we look at your overall cash flow and we do it non-emotionally, right? Because we're not emotionally attached to these different things that you're spending your cash flow on or whatever. And I think that helps us to have some clarity. There's a lot of times when we'll meet with a client and we'll go through their cash flow. And we, at the end, can say, well, looking at your cash flow, you probably can put X dollars into some type of investment for your future. And sometimes people are surprised about that. But I think that there's a lot of things that people don't understand, about their employee benefits, about tax deferred, about after tax, pre-tax, all of those things. And we look at all of that. And so, to your point about you getting some help, and it's made a difference in your day-to-day life, those are the kind of things that we can look at and help with. And I think that just knowing that we're there, like Wanda said, to look at things. And if you have oh man, the car needs whatever repair and I don't have the cash flow for it. And you pick up the phone and you call and we can help and discuss things. So, we're part of your team. We have a client that one time, I don't know, I'm really excited every time I see an email from them. Because one time I sent him what I'm talking about, right?
I know. Yes.
I sent him a thing about, hey, team, whatever. And now every time I get an email from them, that's what it says on the email. And I just feel like, yes, because we're a team. And I want us to be a team. We're your team. We're on your team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So together on your journey.
Right. And so I love that. And I feel like, we're on your team and we want you to enjoy life today. And we'll help you to try to enjoy life in the future. And we're journeying together. So
yes, it's funny, right? Because I heard something last week, which I thought was interesting. I've always heard that it's not about the destination.
The journey. Yes, the journey. Yeah.
Right. And then I always thought it was about the journey. And someone said last week, it's actually about the people with whom you're on the journey.
Oh, well, that does make sense.
Yeah. All right. And I thought it is. It's about community. And that really strikes me. And that's a team thing. It's about the people that you're on the journey with.
Right.
And it made me rethink that whole destination journey people. Because when you look back at your life, right, it's going to be the people, the experiences and that kind of thing that you had that have made the life.
Agreed.
Yeah. So kind of going into the next kind of question, because we were talking about the nitty gritty, I feel like the ins and outs of the day to day. What can a financial advisor do to help with like the bigger life planning changes, the career changes, the work-life balance, the determining like how to, plan ahead, not just for retirement, but for like later in your career? How can a financial advisor help step into that kind of role?
Well, I was thinking about that work-life balance term the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I decided I don't like it.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I did. I don't know why. I feel like maybe it's because I'm a workaholic, but
danger. Oh my gosh.
What?
Yes, I do. You're
So,
passionate about what you do. You make a difference.
Right.
Yes, and that's why I want you to take time away from the office and time.
Oh, no, I know,
away
and
from Sarah.
I do actually take time away from the office. I know. I don't want it to sound like I love my job, but I just decided that term. I don't know, and I feel like it's also a trendy thing. And you know me, I try to
it is a
go
very
away
trendy
from those trendy things. I do not like them. That's just me. I'm just old.
I don't.
That's my
I think
age.
I think that's gonna be here for a while. I think
I
just
know
the way
it
the
is.
new generations are bringing
Let's
it
not
forward.
talk about generations, okay? Because that's gonna also
that's
do
another
something
podcast.
Another
exactly.
podcast.
So I think that talking about your work-life balance and your career and that kind of thing, we actually do talk to you about that, and we have experience. We have lots of clients and lots of different things. I feel like a financial advisor, a financial planner, when you look at your financial plan, we can talk about your career, where you are. And some people, I'm quitting this job today. And sometimes you have to talk clients, okay, if that's what you're going to do. And then, so where are you going to get the money to pay the next month's expenses or whatever, right? So sometimes like we say, it's a little bit about just bringing clarity and talking through your decision and how that's going to impact you financially. And so when you say, I'm going to go back to school and it's going to cost X dollars, but then I'm going to get this benefit and I'm going to get this big promotion because I'm doing that. And we will sit down and talk through that with you from a financial perspective. But also we're thinking about your well-being. And sometimes you might say to a client, okay, you're going to go do that. You're going to get that promotion. But 6 months ago, you were ready to quit this job and said you were working too much and you were, how is that going to impact you? And it's just questions, right? But sometimes just having that clarity and talking about things with somebody who is not emotionally invested can help you on that path.
Right. What's interesting to me sometimes is the money is a reflection of sometimes of your joy. Sometimes people are
Mhm.
buying things, and that's not necessarily giving them the joy that they're
Mm.
looking for. One of my favorite questions is, what's important for me to know about you? And I think that gives me clarity. Not that I would ever know another human being, yet it gives me clarity to help you be your best self. And so I think that's a question that's important. Sometimes you're not happy with where you are. And as Peggy says, I think life is like that. It's an ebb and a flow, which is why I have that logo like that, because I'm like, okay, here you are, boom. Here, and then we're still moving directionally the way we want to go. Sometimes you don't have joy where you are, and then it's time to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to do a career change. And sometimes it's an increase in salary. Sometimes it's a decrease in salary at a cost
Mm.
to you. Yet in the long term, you're going directionally where you want to go.
Mm.
So again, to that time thing, right? There's three things that will affect your assets will be time, rate of return, and the amount you give us. We talk about those things, right? I've had clients work for only a few years and retire. Their assets have grown over the years and they haven't used them. And they've been able to make decisions and not earn money as much. So they've been earning, and working with me. And then they've gotten off out of the workforce, and they've been fine in retirement because of all the work that they've done initially.
Mm.
So again, I can't overemphasize, come in and talk to a financial advisor. You may not do anything with them in the moment, yet it's a pretty powerful step in terms of determining what's best in your life for your best life.
I agree.
I want to kind of go into how do you help people set realistic? How does a financial advisor come in and determine what is a realistic amount? You
The
know,
realistic number is the number that works for you. That's another trendy thing, right? It used to be, oh, hey, you have to have $1 million. Then it was 2 to 3 million. Now it's kind of prevailing right now, 2 to 3 million. But now I'm hearing for the first bubbles about 10 million. And
yeah.
so I know the number's going up. That number is not the same for everybody. And again, to Peggy's point about looking at your employee benefits and that kind of thing, and Social Security, all those things come into play, and your standard of living to determine what your need is. And we actually look at that to determine how much you need. Because what's important there is not somebody else's number or what the media says the number is. What's important is the number that's working for you.
Mm.
Yeah. And, I want to go back just a second to what you said about somebody's realistic goals, right? So, first of all, I'm a coach. Wanda's a coach. So, I coach gymnastics on horseback, and I've had kids, and we make up routines.
Yeah.
And I've had little kids do a routine, and I had another little one watching and said, "Oh, you're not going to be able to do that on the horse." Right? And so the first response is maybe not, but I didn't say that. I said, "Don't tell her or him, right? What they can and cannot do. You don't know." Right? Let's just see and let them try. And you will be amazed at what you will get out of people. So
Mm.
we want to say yes, right? Wanda, that's another thing that we say. We want to say yes to you. So whatever you're telling us your dream is, your goal, what you think you're going to retire, what it looks like to you, we always want to say yes, right?
Yes.
And it's not our job to define for you, like Wanda said, it's each individual person. So if somebody comes to us and they have what maybe is unrealistic goals, right? But maybe if they have clarity in the steps to those goals and we say, okay, well, what's the first thing you're going to do? And then after that, you're going to do what, right? If we help them to define what they're doing, you might be amazed at what they can do. Now, if they come to us and say, oh, I saw this thing, and if I buy this $100,000 thing and it's going to give me a 300% rate of return and whatever, right? Well, what does that really mean and how does that work? So again, it's about sitting down and helping you walk through it to get a better idea. So
Yeah,
I think
it's funny. A couple things, right? Is never step on someone's dream
yeah.
because it might be all they have. So If I always believe this idea of saying yes, I always believe that if someone comes in and this is what they want, and it's in their head and their heart, that they can achieve it. Yet they have to take the steps. And I had to laugh because you said the 300%, right? Actually, someone came in this week and they have this thing. If you buy this thing and it's a 300% rate of return in 5 years, amazing. But probably not my lane. If it sounds so good to be true, it probably is. Yet a simple and organized plan can get you to where you want to go. And then maybe you decide the goal wasn't that important and then you make an adjustment on the goal. But if it's important, you will adjust towards it generally, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that it's not for us to make the expectation. And I am continually amazed at what people achieve.
Yeah,
right?
we're pretty
aren't you,
amazing.
Wanda?
Humans
Right.
are pretty amazing. I'm telling you what. Whether it's the $1 million goal, like I never thought I'd have $1 million, or standing splits on a moving horse, oh dear Lord. Or in my case, a sub 4-minute mile. You just don't know. And so you let them be fully themselves. And we want to applaud you in the effort, and we want to encourage you, and we want to be your best advocate there.
Right. I think that we as a country and as a people, we need to look for the good and expect good things and be amazed at what you actually will find.
People are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Well, to kind of close out this podcast, thank you both Wanda and Peggy for helping just provide clarity on our mantra that we say so often. So if you enjoyed this podcast and you want to talk to Peggy or Wanda, you can find us at financesforreallife.com. The schedule appointment button is at the top right of the page. We post our podcast every 2 weeks. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube currently. So thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the episode, and we can't wait to have you join us in the next episode.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through Finances for Real Life, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial. The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision.